putting together pieces of fashion items, like accessories as well, and clothing, to create a look. And usually the reason we call it fashion is because a group of people have repeated that pattern. Accessories as well. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So meaning that if I wear these outfits today, and I'm just the only person wearing this, you can't define it as fashion. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. But if it's repeated, so meaning that some other person, if I wear this, and within a community today, people tend to just the only person wearing this, you can't define it as fashion. What we have is a fashion. That's what we describe as fashion. So over time, a lot of people have been able to create these communities. How do we turn this into a business? So, along the line, the early people in fashion started to think about how to create this also by making money out of it. This brings me to where I'll start from today, which is creating a vision for your brand. As a fashion person, as anybody in business of fashion, you must understand that having a clear vision for your brand is important. So if you have a retail outlet, for example, or you have a production facility, you have a responsibility to have that vision put at every strategic point of your facility. So if, let's say this is your business space, the moment anybody is walking into this particular auditorium, the vision that you have for your brand is clearly very beginning. So clearly, they know what this place is all about, business is all about. So there's no reason to create a bit of confusion, especially for your workers and even your staff. If you're a high-end fashion designer and what you mostly create are high-end pieces, it should not be confusing to a customer. When they come in there, they should be able to see that this is a luxury outfit. This is where I have to really, cash out, or maybe bring out a lot of money to pay for this item. So you've created that clear picture from the very beginning. That's what most businesses actually do. They have a clear vision. So anyone who is coming into that business can see what this business does. Oftentimes, what we see from fashion designers is that they have a business, but they don't really understand the business itself. I'm only going to touch on 4 areas, if time permits, 4 areas. All right, so we'll start with design itself. Fashion is all about first designing, then you go into manufacturing, you go into what I call the design, the manufacturing, and the mention, and you are still a person in business of fashion. You can just be a designer. So what we have today, especially nowadays, is that we have somebody who is sitting somewhere in the Philippines, in his room, in a small room in the Philippines. All the person does is create designs and sells those designs to somebody who is able to manufacture those designs or interpret the designs into finished product. Then we have somebody and display them creatively in a showroom on the streets of New York. You understand what I'm trying to say here? So, but at every point, everybody here is in the business and interpreting whatever ideas that come into their head, putting them in a sketch. So the person who is able to look at those sketch and create patterns out of the sketch, then makes it into a clothing outfit. All right? Packages it. And to the person who is in New York, who takes those finished products, and then decide to create very beautiful mannequins, those beautiful mannequins, just put them out there and put those finished products there. So that when people walk in, they can even see themselves in the outfit that they've not yet worn. I don't know, do you know what's mannequin, right? So you can actually see yourself in the outfit even without wearing it. Somebody must have thought about, how do I bring to the person that if you wear this dress, this is how you will look. The way you have positioned it in the showroom has clearly clearly interpreted to the person what you will look like. So you can decide, if you're a plus size person and you see somebody in a skinny dress and you feel that I should buy this one, you're on your own. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. So that is what the retailers have been able to do. Along the line, everyone from a designer to a manufacturer to a marketer, a retailer, they are all in the business of fashion. I don't know if you are getting where I'm going to here. So where do you now come in as a fashion designer itself? Like most of the people here in Nigeria, because we are used to this language, fashion designer. We are used to this language, being a fashion designer. How do you function properly in this space? I'll come down to Nigeria so that I will use our own language to, break down the explanation. So, you're a tailor, right? You have a machine, a sewing machine, and you have your first customer may be your mom, your sister, your brother, or anyone. Those probably could be your first customers. So you decided that these people cannot continue to sustain your business because you're only making clothes for them. Now you need to scale up to take it out there. There's something that I always advise people to do, is that you identify the niche that you want to play as a fashion person in business of fashion. Wear maker, someone who is able to determine the shapes and sizes of an average Nigerian, because it's the most difficult thing. Being a ready-to-wear designer is probably the most difficult thing. Most of the time, we are very familiar with you. But a situation whereby I can make 20 different outfits, maybe across Nigeria, and wear without having to do a lot of fitting. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That's a special skill. So making ready-to-wear is not a small job. It is also expensive. So now, where are you playing? Are you a ready-to-wear designer, or you are a bespoke designer, all right? Or you're just a couture? There is a difference. I don't know if anyone knows what couture is here. If you know, please just let's have this interaction. Because if I'm just telling you things and you're not getting it, where you need to play. Couture is a niche in the fashion space where you can actually go to somebody this number of yardage. So they will produce that specific fabric for you. Then you go, because you have had a client who has told you that they need something that is not on the streets, that is not on the shelf, that is not anywhere. So you want to create something very special. Then the person has created that also. Then you go to somebody and tell the person, I want the buttons created. And I want the buttons to carry the name of, let's say, Pastor Chris. I want the buttons to carry the name of Pastor Chris on them. And I want the cufflinks. So these are some of the details that you all put together for a couture garment. By the time you have brought in all of these components before that outfit is completed for a couture, because the process of making a couture dress for a couture dress. So these are all cost somebody's measurement and extensively. The moment, So let's use how then, because that's actually what most for people. How then do you break into the right clients that you want here? Here again, you also have to identify your entry points. Who are your customers? How do you gain access into this customers? Younger. When I was here, I think as at 2015, I remember, it was on the 31st of December 2014. We're going into the year 2015. Usually we do the all-night service here and, the crossover service. I had originally been in retail, completely retail then, which is I buy pieces from across the world and I sell. So right here, Pastor Makinwa was talking about how you can actually create vision and how you must ensure that you continue that. If the world is now in crisis, and you still say it's now in crisis, so in that particular meeting, he was talking about how you destroy it or realign it. After that session, I looked at the exchange rate of Nigeria then. It was always, in fact, it started crashing from 2015 down till now. I think we're at, if I was to remain in retail, that is sourcing items from overseas, I would not be able to meet up because I would be sourcing foreign exchange every time to try to get these items into the country. That singular message When I got home the next day, I started to draw a new plan for my clothing brand that I have and I run today. I don't know if this is, I think I'm just sharing this for the very first time. I've shared this in many other conferences where I was able to speak. To look for who would be my, today, majority of my client base are people in ministry. People in ministry are the majority of my clients. So what did I do? I used the church boy, like Pastor Toby just said here. I was always in the church. I was serving everywhere that I could, you know. So that I should reach out to. So I started making outfits for people in the church, even for free. People who did not even ask, I would make for them. And along the line, about the cut, see, there's something that you must understand before you want to retrain yourself. So I went for training. But while I was training, I wanted to really know, why would somebody patronize me? There's something has to be different. Identify that cutting my pattern was very essential. So it means that there must be a way that I present you that you would, even if you go back to someone else and use the person, you say, there's something really unique about this one, let me just stick with this one. You will call me back. Whether I know I can be very expensive. Deviated sometimes from this particular way of cutting. Then I get feedback, especially because you would be so busy and engaged with a lot of things. You would have left your workers to continue to do something. So they are not following something that you have created from the very beginning. They can just miss it out. If you have good people, mean that you have done well. Feedback is telling you that this one, the way you cut this one is different from the way you used to cut the one you used to do. Something is wrong here. That's a positive feedback. In fact, there was a day I received a call from a customer. He said, and it was actually the first time I was making outfits for that client. So I was waiting for the feedback. The feedback came in, and like, what's wrong with you? Did you not take my measurement? I was like, what's going on? So apparently, we're doing a high number of outfits. There's somebody who makes trousers. There's somebody who makes tops. There's somebody, so that's the way I designate. Moved from another client into another client. So he used this different measurement of the one he was making to make this outfit. When this man called me, he was so angry. It's such a situation, you are like, how do I resolve this? This man is this first time that I don't make. The guy makes outfit from Monday. He has an outfit from Monday to Saturday. And he has a color code of blue. So I have to make that outfit from Monday to Saturday. By next week, he's going for another color. It could be brown. You understand what I'm saying? That's how detailed the man is. So, but I resolved it. It was tactically, I resolved it. How did I resolve it? I told the person to give us 24 hours to reproduce those outfits. We did and everything, and he did the check-in and all of that. I brought in that to my touch, which is what I was known for. And from that moment till now, the man has not left. It is different. In fact, some people will gift him outfits. The man will bring it and say, can you please retouch it the way you do mine? All right, this is something that someone else had made for him. He will ask us to retouch it. So, but where am I going to here? Let it be that in your business of going towards, you cannot stick with one entry point because that will kill your business. What if those people are no longer patronizing you? You have to identify another space. That at the moment, I have about 3 pools. I have the one they call the overseas pool, the ones who are not physically seeing you. So I've been able to create a situation where I can tell the size, the shape, the measurement of anybody that I see through their picture, just the picture. Because for you to be able to penetrate the international market, right, you need to be able to make outfits for people who you are not physically seeing, all right, but you can also get their measurement accurately. So that was one of the first things I tried doing. So I will see the people's picture, at skills sorted. I had a pool of customers from overseas. All right. And the feedback has been awesome. And now, when you give them a bill, it's different from when you are billing somebody in Nigeria. Because $100 is 100,000. $100 is 100,000 now. So we will charge. If I charge somebody, like, this man is even trying. Because let me be frank with you, there are websites that sell African products. We use that as benchmark. Anytime we want to give a bill to somebody who is not in Nigeria, we look at those websites where we can benchmark and see. We see that they charge $200 and something, so we charge $100. All right? Because if we charge $220 as that person, the person will just simply just buy from there. Okay, so these are some of the things you must, do. Then I talked about. Now there's one other area that people are not really focusing on, which is business. It's a high income and also a high cost business. Meaning that for you to run a successful fashion brand, you need to understand that money is important. That is, you need to have a lot of money in that business. You may start business, it's not like that. Trust me, let me be I'm brutal here. We both can start the same business, the same fashion business at the same time. If you have more money and more time into that business, you are likely to succeed better than myself, who has not put in as much money as you. I'll give an example of, there's a brand that is currently doing very well today. It started about 5 years ago. Then there's taking its time to do. But the brand that is 5 years old, is very skilled in the business, also detailed, I understand the business for that 20 years. This guy is just like one of those lone standards. I was able to come out from it after all the battles, and it's now a successful brand after 20 years ago with a lot of money. But the truth is that on aesthetics, when you look at the income that comes in, the person who started 5 years ago with good money makes more money. First thing first is capitalizing on the digital age, and also is able to build a state-of-the-art production facility. All right? So why I brought it up is that whenever people are talking about production, the first thing is that you must know how to sew very well, just get good tailors. That's not all. If you have a good tailor, right, a tailor may not be able to make buttonhole, the buttonhole for your shirts, for your suits, and things like that. Then you have a very good tailor, and you don't have a buttonhole machine. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do about that. So you need to have a buttonhole machine. If you have made your outfit beautifully well, you have stitched it, but what you use in stitching it is the old black and white machine, the old Singer machine. That's how you are running it. And at the end of the day, the stitches are not aligning. The under part of it has some threads gathering there. There is a diff just runs through like that. There's a difference, right? The other side to help you do the weaving inside. And that one will just gather the whole thing and do the weave. By the time you look the interior of that garment, it's horrible. You don't really know what to do with it. Now, what if you were very good with making those outfits, but you have every facility to make that finishing better? What do you think would happen? You think you will actually do better, you'll go better? Yes, of course. The fashion business today is a $2.5 trillion business globally. In fact, in the last 5 years, the people in fashion have remained the top richest people in the world. Just so you know how big the fashion industry is. There is hardly any industry in the world right now that is a $2.5 trillion industry. The fashion industry is the singular, that is when you say one industry, the highest grossing, an employer of labor today. So what are you doing about your own fashion business? What are you doing about, are you still the neighbor next door who is a tailor? Or are you thinking that your business can be a global brand? Let's use even a Nigerian brand that started about 10 years ago here, Vicky James. I'm sure some of you would have heard about that brand. All right? If you go to her first post on Instagram, she used to hold the dress like somewhere like this. All right? And the next thing she will wear it. She's a church girl, just like I talked about myself here. She's a church girl. So she was making clothes for people in the church. And the church, one of the things that church do, even if you are bad, they will still keep promoting you until you get better. So find a way. Don't just come to church and not serve. When you are serving, in the place of service, people will actually identify. I would like to entertain questions. My sessions for fashion business is usually interactive. It's not a situation where I'm talking. The reason you will come for take your questions. Thank you.
Put your hands together for him. You can do better. These things you are hearing for free, they pay millions. I hope our writing pads and our writing notes are filled up already. Let me tell you one thing I also got from his lecture. He said, wherever you find yourself, use it as a point of entry. In your family, you do a business and you are the one that is not serious. Where you find yourself, amidst your friend, sell your business. Use it as a point of entry. Another thing he said that is very important, he said, feedbacks. Feedback doesn't mean you are doing well. Expect feedbacks, but it doesn't mean you are doing well. Some feedbacks can come in place of correction. And one important thing he said, don't just start. Don't just start small. Start well. In every business, about the business you do. And put these things that they are saying, put it in place in your own business so that you can improve these things. Very short musical break and we'll be back soon. Thank you very much.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Okay, we have a song this morning titled "This Little Light of Ours." We are gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everybody say, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everybody let's sing together. Say, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it Come on, everybody, sing this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. We sing this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Oh yeah, this little light of mine. I'm shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Being educated by two wonderful speakers. Can we put our hands together? Yeah. So I'll be introducing our next speaker by the name Mr. Olayinka Ojerinde. And I will read his citation. Mr. Olayinka Ojerinde is a water plant manager. He has a BSc in Industrial and Production Engineering in Nestle Green Belt Certified. Is a data analyst. Is a plant manager in Agbara factory in the year 2023. Also 2023. Also, he was the industrial performance manager for Flowergate Factory 2008 and 2014. With a round of applause, let's introduce Mr. Olayinka Ojerinde.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm to talk on positioning yourself for a fulfilling career. This session is, we need to make it more interactive. They need to ask questions. So please, during the course of my chat or my engagement with you, you can stop me at any point to ask questions. That's the easiest way for us to learn. So please, that is, I'll be looking at choosing the right career, okay? Writing a successful. When we were much younger, when I was still like this, my brother here, if anybody asked me, OJ, what will you like to become in the future? What do you think will come to my mind? I always tell people then, I would like to be a pilot or an astronaut. You know, something fancy that everybody will say, wow. But as you grow older, you notice that becoming a pilot is not a moi hobby. Then, again, you look at your strength. Can I go this height, and then there won't be trouble? So all this will come together and guide you in what you will become in the future. Okay? So, with all of this, how do we determine the career that we will go into? Before I do this, let's talk a little about your discipline and your career. Okay? Now, discipline is what all of us will do in four corners of a school. You get? For me, I did in all. I do more of operations. From operations, I go into data analysis. From data analysis, I go into management of stakeholders and co. You get? I've never been into core engineering. So my career is more into manufacturing. You get? So sometimes it can be engineering I study, I build my career in engineering too. I met someone for the very first time in my life that I saw a medical doctor in sales. I've never seen the guy, sorry, which school? He said University of Ibadan. From which faculty? He said, that's the career the guy has built for himself over the years. And he's doing excellently well there. Okay? So you can go learn something in school as certificate. However, you can build your career elsewhere. So more than 90% of the time, you can be what you learn in school. However, that remaining 10-20%, you can still add something to it and change it. Now, before I go into three steps for you to choose the right career. For any reason, I studied fishery. and I want to go into banking. What do you think I should do? Because JAMB was doing me, really, when I was doing JAMB, guys, I've never failed in my life, but JAMB failed me. I really failed JAMB, seriously, okay? Growing up, I do this exam, I pass straight. I do this one, I pass straight. But when it's time for JAMB, oh Lord. He kept jamming me every second. So, I have another brother like that. JAMB really disturbed him. Now, he went into fishery. And he studied fishery in university. But his passion is actually in banking. What do you think he should do for this? I told her it will be interact. Excellent. So that was what the brother did after finishing the fishery that he studied then. He went into ICANN. He did only one step. And he registered for CBN. And luckily, the guy just went into CBN like that with background of fishery. And he's doing very well in banking. So what you study as a discipline should not limit you to what you want to what you have passion for. Okay? Do we get it? Hello? Do we get this one? Okay. So now, how do we choose right career for ourselves? The first thing for us is discover what you are good at. What are you good at doing? Okay? What are you good at doing? What is your hobby? What do you see yourself doing without any issue? You know, remember, this is your career that you are looking at. You will do it for every day of your life, yes or no? So if you want to do something for every day of your life, that means it must be something that you enjoy doing. Because there was a time I was having one discussion with some of my folks. In a day, you have 14 hours of daylight. Abi? Well, either you like it or not, for work, going to work, working itself, and coming back home, you will spend minimum of 13 hours. So that means your useful time or your useful life, you are spending it at work. So it must be something that you love doing, okay? So what do you love doing? You have to ask yourself. The younger ones now, what do you like to do? Remember, if I love watching football and I love analyzing football, it's still the same football, but I can go into football analysis. Abi? So if I want to build a career because I love analyzing football, I can do mass communication. And then this can help me into developing that part of me to do more in whatever I love doing. Do we get this one? Okay? So, first one, always remember, what you are good at is very key. Now, for myself, what did I do then? I love playing with numbers. Okay? So playing with numbers it comes easily. And for every folk in my family too, when it comes to mathematics, we are always, if we fail everything, we will not fail maths. So if we fail everything, all the subjects, mathematics we will not fail. So naturally, we are good with numbers, and going into engineering becomes easier. And with that, I can go directly into planning, which I will put so many numbers together to see what it can come up with. So that is why my background in engineering and going into planning was much easier. Okay? So the next one is, sorry. What are your core values? What are your core values? Now, if you want to do, I give an example. If my core value is, I need a lot of money, and I want to go into engineering, what course in engineering do you think I will go to? Or I will do? I will easily go for petroleum engineering, because petroleum engineering then, they pay in dollars. Forgotten his name now. So they can do much with that, but remember whatever you are doing. Okay? So those are the two two key things that I will talk about. I will talk about on the choosing career. Now, let me quickly check. Let me quickly look at writing a successful CV. Okay, CV, your resume. For few of us that are going into career now, your resume represents you are likely to be, or the way you are. Okay, so keep your resume quite. I cannot read it. If I'm the hiring manager, I will just dump it. But make your resume quite short. Go straight to the point. Now, don't save the best for last time. The hiring managers, they don't have the time and they have a lot to check. So you get. So make your CV, your first page, the right way, the right word. Hit your points directly, and then the better for you. Okay. So just 2, 3, 4 points on the CV. Sometimes you don't need. Most times you don't need to put people not from the CV, and also avoid the put your name or jerrydeyinka@yahoo.com. So I remember then somebody corrected me actually for it. One professor in the university then. I can't remember what I put. He called me immediately, and then I will know that it is you, and it will not be like. Please always, whenever you are doing something that is corporate, don't use all this for love. I'm in love with you @gmail.com. Please. And date of birth and gender is quite important in this part of the world. In some other part of the world, you don't need to put gender because sometimes they can do their what is not necessary there. However, in this part of the world, please include your gender. Religion, tribe, and place of birth is not important. Okay, most organizations they don't need it. And then your CV should be simple, concise, relevant. Soft skills must be included in your CV. In manufacturing, that I should come. So you have to ensure that whatever content you have in the CV is showing that you have the flexibility. Job interview is very, very, very important. Somebody was, what is the grammage of Maggie Cube? And the person could not get it. You get? So please, it's important that you, and for interviews, please, it's important for us to dress appropriately. There are some people that they cannot, sometimes they can be unforgiving. If you dress inappropriately to their offices, they will not let you enter, or they will just spend a few seconds with you and let you go. So please, let's dress appropriately. And key one, be calm. Be calm. From experience, I've seen simple question. What is, introduce yourself. They are an interviewer. Let's try as much as possible to maintain 5 people together. The conclusion